these high school freshmen come in early, and they're the big man on campus. Sometimes they got a little bit of a big head, which KD didn't have that, but he was used to, walking around the locker room a little bit different because he was the guy.
That's right.
And rightfully so. And so then
It's fun the guy when he was a ninth grader in Broken Arrow.
I know. It's fun to watch them come in, and then all of a sudden, there's this guy named Caleb Hawkins who led the nation in touchdowns last year at this level in front of you. And so for him to watch Caleb work, like Caleb is such a phenomenal worker day in, day out. He's such a student of the game, the way he takes notes in meetings, he's early to meetings, he's on time. So what's been cool to me is watch Caleb take KD under his wing, and I've already seen, KD's matured light years in 6 months, and the knowledge of what he's doing. I think sometimes it's a natural progression, and it takes sometimes, him getting embarrassed a couple times on pass protection. And he, his first key blitzes, and he doesn't pick them up, and our quarterback gets smoked. It's like, holy smokes, like this is becoming a lot more important. But the growth and his skill set's phenomenal. He has a skill set to be a big time running back in this league, and I think he will be. And it could be sooner than later. And so I think, really excited to watch his progression over the course of the next year.
Is he? Do you anticipate that he will get some kind of rotational role, or that he could contend for a rotation?
The cool thing about what's just happening right now is this 5-for-5 stuff, and the red shirt stuff's off. So you don't have to monitor that as a coach. And we always used to go back and forth, and you play the guys, on special teams the first 4 games. So he's the guy that has gonna add special teams value right now. He's gotten better and better, where I think, in the end of fall camp, he could push for some playing time this year. And I think physically, he's getting better, as far as just his body getting bigger and stronger, and be able to withstand the hits that he's gonna have to take at this level. And so I could definitely see him getting some reps.
It feels like the 9th and 10th grade classes in Tulsa County are historically deep. Have you been around?
Yeah.
Have you ever been able to kind of do inventory on what's coming? Eventually?
Yeah. So what's cool for me is I have a 10-year-old that plays for a team out of, majority of them out of Tulsa. I think they're called Sooner 7. But I go watch these 7-on-7 tournaments, my son, and then right behind us is a 15-year U team, right? So you're talking about the young bucks, young high school kids, and so there's been some people just pop up. You're like, holy smokes, who's that kid right there? And so I think that's something that I'm not gonna overuse it, try to cheat, whatever. But I'll be at some of those events, and it'll naturally allow me to see some of them. And then obviously we're gonna attack Tulsa and Oklahoma City and try to get as much talent as we can. We got to get some of them to stay home too. It's not a secret anymore. I felt like Tulsa football was a secret for a long time, and now everybody in the country is coming to it.
That's right.
How do you feel about the progress of the 27 recruiting class?
Yeah, so I like it. I think it's been an adjustment for me, and I'm always going to be honest about this. And there's some stuff that I'm going to have to go back and reevaluate on the timing of it, and the amount of people we're bringing on official visits, and then too, I think there's a financial aspect of how you're putting together your class right now, and where you choose to spend your money and build your roster. And so we're going to stick to our guns like we have for so many years. And it's hard, during this first cycle, I think, because we don't have a product to show people from Oklahoma State yet. And everywhere I've been, Incarnate Word in year 2 and 3, so much easier to recruit than year 1. North Texas, so much easier to recruit as you build a winning program. And then they're watching your film and they see it. And so we're selling a vision right now. And so, yeah, I think there's been some positives with the class right now. And then, too, this 5-for-5 is going to throw us for a little bit of loop, because there's a bunch of people that we weren't expecting to come back next year that are on our roster that now we're expecting to come back. And so our high school class, the numbers just to start with have dwindled down since that ruling's been made. And so there's a little bit of that playing into effect, because we have 7 or 8 really good football players that now can come back that we weren't expecting. And so, which is a good thing. You want to be old, but yeah, I think we've won some key battles that we needed to, but still we've lost some, and we got to go to work and figure out the best ways to make this work.
Drew's time with the Manning camp stuff. I don't know if you got to talk to Drew since that. If so, I'd just love to know sort of how he looked at it, but also what's that like for you? Obviously, that's a big deal for him to get involved. How do you think that'll just sort of affect him? I imagine that's a good confidence boost.
Yeah, Archie Manning called me a couple months ago and started asking questions about Drew, and I've known Archie for a while, and so I was like, listen, this kid's a no-brainer. This kid's gonna play for a long time on Sundays. The cool thing for Drew is I think finally starting to get the notoriety, and then you go to camp and you're around some of the best quarterbacks in the nation at your level, and you see yourself against these guys, and then all of a sudden, these guys that are mocked up to be the number 1, number 2, number 3 pick in the draft next year. He's like, oh, I can do it just as good as this guy, right? The cool thing about that camp was I got a lot of texts about how he performed and how well he did, but it made me more proud of how many texts I got about what kind of person he was, how humble he was, how he interacted with everybody, and so I think that just speaks volumes about the character that the young man has.
Hey guys, this will be the last couple of years.
Drew, you kind of mentioned the benefits of that camp for him. What do you see that doing for him moving forward?
I think just growing his confidence. I think he's someone that, didn't play in high school, wasn't recruited, came in, made a name for himself, had the year he did, led the nation. It all hit so fast for him. And so I think just reaffirming what he's always believed in, the confidence. And I think you go out there and you stand in line with, the best 15 guys in the nation, from what, all these experts are saying on mock draft stuff. And then all of a sudden, I think his confidence was built on. He's like, okay, yeah, I got what it takes to make it at this level. And so yeah, I just think not only is it a cool experience, you just, as a quarterback, you see it your whole life, and all these quarterbacks come through and working with, obviously, Eli and Peyton and building those relationships. The quarterbacks have a tight bond, it's a small fraternity, and I think it's something that he'll grow in really, really well.
What have you found